Hello visitor internets and welcome to this video where today I will be attempting to build some kind of competitor to the Cherrier Vivace, which is the vehicle which has not quite been released into BeamNG yet. Now I've probably said it completely wrong, but you know, what are you going to do about it? Just live with how I can't say anything, basically. We have all kinds of bodies here. I wouldn't want to go with something quite of this age, and the bodies look a bit strange to me. I do like this, although it's probably on the long side, so is that. You know what, let's try a coupe. Let's see what I can do with the coupe body. I have some strange, let's say, ideas. I think partial aluminium for body material, because it is a modern vehicle. It can have occasional aluminium panels. For the chassis though, it's definitely going to be unitary. That is the modern way of doing things. Alternatively, I guess semi-space frame. But it's definitely not going to be a space frame or a truck unitary or a ladder. Because in this class of vehicle, it doesn't make any sense to do that in the current day and age, which is 2020, as I've set it up to be. Now, I'm not going to go with front transverse, no, I'm going to go with a rear-engined vehicle. There is certain oddities. There is the Renault Twingo, which is rear-engined. However, that is one car in like a world of front-engined rear drive, front-engined all-wheel drive and front-engined front-wheel drive cars. You get the point, really. Rear engines exist, but they're not as common. And they exist in Porsche as well, admittedly, but Porsche doesn't really make any economy cars, so they're completely irrelevant here. I could put solid axle coil on. I would say that's a bit primitive, to be honest, but it'll probably save on maintenance costs. So for the time being, I'll settle for that. And yes, I've built a bit more of a muscle car. Also, I went with, what's it called? McPherson strut on the front. Thought I'd mention that, in case you missed it. Now, we're not going to build any fancy engines. The Vivace has all-wheel drive and a inline 6. Inline 5, rather, sorry. We are going to build a car which is probably not going to perform as well, but it's mainly going to be all about fun. All about how much fun you can have with it. So I think I'm going to get a ridiculously high revving engine. Ooh, it's apparently struggling to fit. We're not going to make it front wheel drive though. Yep, it's going to be a rear wheel drive car. So that's no problem at all. Height is oddly the problem. I don't think we'll need 4x4. I think it's either going to be rear wheel drive or possibly all wheel drive with certain option packages. And I think we're on to about 2 point something. We could perhaps go with a 6-cylinder, but that would add money. So I think how to balance this, we really want a 2.5 litre. Yeah. The height is a struggle though, apparently. And I don't want to really fill the engine bay up. I think the way to traditionally build one of these is about 1.6 to 2.5 litres, I would say. Or they're about the most common sizes. You can get some that are a little bigger and some that are a little smaller. But as a general, that's how big inline 4s are. We've got 2 valve per cylinder. We don't want that. We want 4, which is the standard today. Although actually, Volkswagen did have 5 valve per cylinder engines in the late 90s, early 2000s. So it is possible to mass produce that technology. We'll do that then, let's say. We'll go with cast iron internals unless they need upgrading because it saves a bit of money. And the weight difference isn't really enough to write home about. No VVL though. I think it's because it's 5 valve per cylinder. Anyway, we are not going to have a turbocharger, as I said. We're not going to focus on performance. We're going to focus on something that's supposed to be fun. And maybe even a bit more comfortable. If I have a lot of money to spare. direct injection, performance. This is the performance variant, so we are going to go with the better stuff available. But I don't want it to be a turbo. I want it to just be a characterful, naturally aspirated engine. We'll move that to lean for the time being. And this should give us the basis of an engine. Long tubular. It's no race car, but we do want it to breathe. Bypass valves. Apparently it actually fits front wheel drive as well. Not that I would do that, but I guess we could. If we really wanted to. Although it's right crammed in there if it's a front wheel drive platform. We'll need the best catalytic converters. And I think we'll have a... do we want a pair of baffled? I don't know. We want, like, audio damping. But we don't want too much of it. So I think just a single reverse flow. Let's hear it. Yep, it has the basic spirit of a nice high revving engine, but it isn't quite there yet. Mind, with the 144 we're currently seeing, should be in for quite good numbers, maybe 220 plus horsepower. As I say, that... oh dear. We need to raise the cam profile as well, which will raise the max RPM. It currently can't exceed 8600 without problems, so... yeah, looks like I'm going to need to change the internals. But as I say, that's something I will do if needed. So I'm probably going to change them, unless it somehow doesn't need the revs. Which I doubt to be the case. Then we can go and adjust the ignition timing. We have got a bit of exhaust work as well we can do. Oh, look at that. I think I said 220 plus. All of that power. All for me. Lovely. So, just one more adjustment here. Ooh, got to climb even more. And look at that. This engine just isn't going to hold up for it. But as I'm saying, the point is fun. The point is not to build an engine that is particularly... I wouldn't say not efficient, but the point isn't to build an engine that's particularly powerful. We just want it to be fun and a bit more like a race engine in character. Speaking of which, it looks like it's got a race intake there. That doesn't look like just a normal sport one. We shouldn't really have a race one. Oh no, it is performance. Okay, I'm guessing then carbon fibre is more affordable in 2020 and I just got used to seeing it on race cars engines, so that just about figures. We'll go with, I think, forged internals above the crankshaft. I don't believe we need a forged crankshaft though, because as you'll see, the pistons, just start holding it back. No, the conrods do, but either way, the conrods are on the same kind of performance level, torque aside, from the crankshaft, which is cast iron. So, yeah, and it's not exactly going to be a high torque engine, revving this high and all. Reliability ain't great. Oh dear. Maybe that's to do with the crankshaft. Maybe if I do change it, reliability will increase. No, it won't. Maybe it's just because I'm revving it so high then. Oh well. I wonder actually, because I did build an engine before with a cast iron block and everything. That doesn't change it, no. Although, no, not that either. I don't know then. Because I built a 2.3 litre inline 4 before, and it was, I think, on the 90s for reliability, and this just isn't. This does not look quite like the practical family car. I could try and turn it into a bit more of a hatchback, but No, that's actually about as good as it goes. So what have we got on the models? We've not got that much available. That's the problem. These are about the next oldest ones, and they look really goofy, almost like trying to be crossovers. And I'm just trying to build a normal hatch, not a crossover. So where do I go there? We have this, which I think personally is a bit too loony, but maybe I would. I'll have to see how I can shape it, I guess. Nah, I don't know, it just sits too low for a road car. That coupe is the only real car I've got of the recent 10 years that works. Are there any 2010 model year bodies that would work, perhaps? Ooh. That's very long, but it is just a family car body. Ooh, here we have some. That's just like a BMW 1 Series body. I think we'll just have to go with this coupe. I think it's the only modern type of body that we have that I could use to get the result I want. It's not going to be a hatch, but you know, you've got to deal with some things sometimes. We'll bring this forwards. It's got stupid long doors now. However, should have some good interior trims and stuff. What am I saying? There we go. Bring that right back. I don't know about this. I really don't know. My mind's not happy with what I'm trying to build. So maybe if I bring that forwards like so. I think it needs a sunroof. I think that's what it needs. Have to see if we've got any sunroofs on the actual body trim and stuff. Might be under the chrome trim and the bumpers and whatever else. Come on. Can get all kinds of things here, but it doesn't look like there's a sunroof. Is it in is there any other stuff that might contain it? Miscellaneous, perhaps? Ooh. Ah, yes. Good old Tesla Cybertruck cracked window. This was not raised in a very good neighbourhood. Where are you going? There you are. Someone's just tried to smash the window on our press car and we've not bothered to do anything about it. Okay. Where are we going? Rear-wheel drive, yes. That crack is very off-putting. Oh wow. Could be worse. I think being the modern car it is, it would probably have an advanced auto. Let's say 8-speed. That's probably what I'm thinking. Open differential because it veers to the easy side of things. Radials, hard long life. Because it is a economy car of sorts. Probably want 225s for the amount of power this is going to be putting down. Extend them out. Fronts can stay for now where they are. Gonna go with alloys, which shouldn't look like this, no. Gonna make quite a nice trim of it. Ooh, they are nice. Maybe if we make them 19 inches. It's starting to look like something now. As much as I'm not a fan of putting massive wheels on all cars, that's what companies do today. What am I going to do about it, really? I may put a turbo on it. I don't know. I don't want to, though. I want it to be a crazy high revving naturally aspirated unit. We'll go with some vented disc brakes on the front and solid discs on the rear. 3-piston, 2-piston. See how it works. I'll change it later if I need to. We'll go with a fully clad under tray. Can probably add my own aero parts to get some downforce. It doesn't need a huge amount though with what this is. Go with a standard interior. I don't believe this is a particularly prestige car, even though it kind of looks it. And we'll go with variable hydraulic steering, perhaps. We could go with launch control, but nah. The focus is on fun. We can save a bit of development time by not having launch control, because we know that the Cherrier is going to beat me off the line. But what do you care when you've just got the perfect chassis balance and such good weight balance, hopefully. Have to give it advanced safety because that's what people expect today. We probably don't want crazy advanced suspension. Try something like this and then I'll change it up later. Family sport, that's probably where it should be, let's be honest. Fun as well. But for family sport, let's pin that. Comfort, normal. And they don't actually like having it on sport suspension. Again, you have to reach some kind of compromise, knowing how automation is. Just sticking it on normal, it's going to be too high off the ground. Alright, so how does this look? Better, but I think it can sit lower still. How about moving way back to the start and changing the rear suspension? That might help it a lot. Also, I've not actually put a decent chassis on. That just got stuck on steel and I left it there. Oh dear, they don't like having a better chassis, really. They'll have glued aluminium, but then glued aluminium is quite fancy. Ooh. Semi-space frame. How much does that cost? It's 78 on the price. Versus, say, AHS steel. So, let's have a look at what it actually costs as well. Ooh, weight balance isn't as good as I hoped. 50 or front. Where is the market though? There we go. Approximate cost 32,500. And if we go for semi-space frame, let's see. Yeah, semi-space frame is pretty cheap for quite a light chassis, and I honestly don't care if it's the common way to do things. In this case of a front engine rear drive car, it works very, very well. And we're getting 27 miles per gallon. I shouldn't be impressed by that, but you have to consider how this engine is just revving out. Oh dear. Maybe I'll have to turbo it then. Because if I'm trying to keep the miles per gallon great as well as everything else, mid-transverse, no, we won't be doing that. I mean, we could make it rear-engined at this point. But why would I want to? Solid leaf. As if that's ever going to work. We like struts on the front, yes. As I would agree, that's actually the correct suspension for the job. Trailing arm jumps the suspension up quite a bit, as does double wishbone. But not multi-link. So there we go. Honestly, that's a good setup though. It's actually the same setup as an early 2000s Honda Civic used, and then they moved to non-independent, which made me pretty upset. But still, it's overall a good setup. If you actually look at the pre-2000 Honda Civics, they had double wishbone front and double wishbone rear. They were very impressive. But my point being, this is not a excessive suspension setup, this type of vehicle. is perfectly reasonable, provided we don't just get greedy. Anyway, I don't think it's any more expensive than the live axle coil and the AHS chassis. So, there we go. Things have balanced out quite nicely. Talking about balance, we have got similar weight distribution. That's not really got any worse, thankfully. 1600 kilos. I would say it's on the heavy side, and it indeed is, but it's rear-wheel drive, so what can you expect? If it was a higher end car, maybe you would expect better materials and for it to sit lower in terms of weight, but not on this. It's slow to 60. If I can get 5 seconds, I would be happy, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. Family Sport just love this car. Even Pony is really catching on to it, which I can't blame them for, because usually it's my front wheel drives they like. But in this case, it's a front engine rear drive car, so they're kind of justified in liking it, even if it isn't a V8. It has some Pony features to it. I think we'll want a differential of some kind. We only have to go with one of them, since unlike the Vivace, our car is going to be rear-wheel drive. So, you see, there is a few advantages to building a car this way. Since we're not driving the front wheels, also, they don't need to be made bigger. We just have to beef up the rear wheels, the ones that actually handle the power. And where are we going for tyres? 103, 104.1. Yeah, they want sports compound at the moment. I might make the tyres a bit wider. Actually, let's try. 104. Okay, so they don't really like that. Yeah, 215s. Again, I'll have to admit, this isn't putting down a huge amount of power. That's probably why, with such skinny tyres, it's able to get away with it. I say skinny, they're just really normal for a modern vehicle. Some vehicles will have wider, some will have narrower. Wait, so what do we want in terms of adding performance? We could... Here's where it gets complicated. We could add fuel mixture. Trouble is, adding fuel mixture destroys the economy. And I did not want to do this, but I think I'm going to have to go turbo. And then, when I've got that on, set the turbo to fuel economy. But like, just overall, I'll set the engine up for additional power and see how I can do this thing. I've lost power. We all know that's a good sign. Now, seriously, it's a sign of change. We're going to raise this up. Turbos are just a completely different beast to naturally aspirated, honestly, and how you have to tune them and stuff. Come on. 212. I am somewhat restoring the balance it had before. If it will have better miles per gallon, I think it would be worth the extra cost. Will that be the case? I have no idea. But I can sure try. That's hit 100. So we've got 218 there. 364. Does raising that do anything? Doesn't do anything good, that's for sure. Lowering it doesn't do anything either, but it will save a tiny amount of weight. Yep, come on, compression. You must give me the extra power I so desire. And we've got the exhaust. Maybe that needs to be bigger. And indeed it does. Look at this raising. Oh dear. We don't want it to be too big. There we go. As I've said, they're a completely different beast to running with a naturally aspirated engine. Oh, yes. That was a suitably brilliant leap. $228. We're getting to that similar level of power to what we had naturally aspirated. Well, I believe technically we still had more naturally aspirated, but look at this leap. And it's managing to hold that power quite well once it gets going. The only disadvantage is the turbo lag. But once it really gets going, yeah, it's managing to like hold the power quite consistently over a certain amount of time. And I'm indeed liking that about it. And we can raise the fuel mixture now, because those changes have permitted us to. Lowering that has worked as well. Come on. What can I do to pull 240 horsepower out of you? Is it just an exhaust thing that I need to tweak? We also have to go with a cast iron exhaust because sadly that's the way things are in this game, you know? It's when you put turbo on, you're stuck with that. Let's hear it anyway. Look at that, 239.5 horsepower. It's so close to being 240. Anyway, for now I'm going to leave this. I'll have to come back to it later. Anyway, there we go. Holding that power quite well, actually, on the high end. Even if it's not making the stupid huge amounts of power that we've come to expect, this is at least able to hold its power. And that is all correct. So what have we got for top speed now? It should be quite similar to what it was before. Ooh, it does accelerate quicker. I'm guessing there's extra torque, because the power isn't really any different, but I'm guessing there's extra torque. Miles per gallon is just a complete joke. It makes me want to switch back to naturally aspirated. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm going to keep pushing on with this because I do want to at least try the various options. Vicious differential seems to be the best. Oh no, it isn't. Family Sport 1 open. They've changed their mind again. Oh dear me. Alright. What do you think of the safety now? You don't want advanced 20 safety, you just want standard. Well, fine. Saves me some money. Anyway. Saves me some money, saves me some weight. 103.4. I don't think that's worth the weight, but I don't know. That definitely isn't. They don't even notice a difference. Gas monotube dampers. Yeah. Simplify the suspension system, save a bit of money. And what else? It's got worse for weight balance. That's that's for sure. I mean, it's a very technologically advanced vehicle, but then so are most modern vehicles. This has 5 valve per cylinder though, which makes it somehow better. Anyway, maybe I should make this engine smaller. Crazy ideas. Anyway, I will be back. So, here I have an engine. It makes, well, near as makes a difference of nothing to 310 horsepower. I can somehow put words together. It's a decent enough amount of power. Not great fuel economy, but as you'll see here, it is doing a rear longitudinal layout with rear wheel drive. as I decided, you know, the engine's small enough, it's going to fit in the back with no real issues. So that's what I went with. Hence also why there's not that much cooling on the front. It's just not necessary for a rear engine vehicle. But I have got vents and stuff where you would expect them to be on a rear engine vehicle. It is a semi-space frame. And yeah, 5 valve cylinder. A lot of this stuff hasn't changed, but I just made the engine smaller and I was able to do such without really sacrificing power. It takes a while for the power and torque to eventually come on, but it's not the worst curve I've seen, considering that it does rev over 9,000. I mean, it somewhat makes up for the fact that the low RPM is garbage. Anyway, we have a 7-speed manual for the best driving experience, and a gear differential, indeed. It has very wide rear tyres, actually. A lot wider than your typical hot hatchback, but the fronts are what your typical hot hatchback would have. It's a different car, really. It's more like a Porsche Boxster than a compact economy car, although the Renault Twingo does have a rear engine layout, so it's not entirely impractical to use. And that's the modern Twingo I'm talking about, not the one from the 90s. You can check it if you don't believe me. Could actually build a competitor to that car. It would be quite interesting, since it does have a different layout and all. Yeah, it's still not a high performance car like this. Anyway, back on subject, we have a standard interior, as you would expect, really. This is not a prestige vehicle. Smaller wheels than you might expect, but it has benefits to build the car this way. I don't remember what brakes have got on it, but I don't think they're too overkill for this vehicle, yeah. They are large 4 pistons on the front, but we do have to get it stopped. They are still, though, within these wheels, and they don't need to truly push the limits. They're bigger on the back, but they have less pistons, and that will, well, it will usually improve the weight balance. Not in this case, but what can you do other than hope? 58% of the weight is at the back, which is not too bad. That's ultimately what I've gone with. I mean, I just see this and I can keep thinking I'm going to change something here or change this little bit there. But I've already driven it. As at the time I record this, the audio and everything was messed up on the other clips, so I'm re-recording this. I should have the audio sorted now, since I think it was a AMD update that messed with it, and now I'm using Audacity to record the audio. All should be well, and this audio should be coming out good. If it isn't, I will probably just cry and weep. Anyway, as I say, I've exported it, so let's see how our little rear-engined super hatch can do. I think it's a hatchback. So, here we are for 5 laps of the, blindingly light headlights. 5 laps of the Italy mini village loop, as it is, and I've taken 2 vehicles around here already. The VAC responder thing, McArmy McTrekker, to give it its true name, and my Sunburst Mark 1 from 1962, which I just built because I felt like it. Anyway, let's get going. Oh dear, we've got electronic stability control. To be honest, the McTrekker probably had it, but it had the all-wheel drive system anyway, so it's not like it would have been able to cheat using it. Anyway, this is actually doing incredibly well. I mean, it's got a lot of traction and it really does dive into these corners. Oh, bit of oversteer there, but it was nothing that I couldn't catch. Yeah, you'll see there's virtually nothing to the laps here, but I do like it because it's just a simple little circuit and it really does stress the handling of the vehicle. It's incredible to me though is this is actually very grippy, but it's It's also quite smooth. Ooh, some horrible lag coming up there. It's also very, very smooth for what it is, which is a super high performance vehicle. I mean, there is turbo lag, no doubt, but it gets out of that easily enough, and then you're well into the 9,000s range for RPMs when you're really pushing it. Oh, both the other vehicles did 0.27s, and this is already incredible. I reckon this is going to hold a leaderboard space for quite a while. Because, you know, I decided to build this, but I didn't think it would be as stupidly capable as it actually is. I didn't build it with that in mind. I just knew that modern hot hatchbacks were quite capable, so if it's to compete with one of them, it's going to have to be quite capable by virtue of that. Anyway, we seem to be hitting the nose a bit on some of the worst of the bumps, but then I am really attacking them, remember? And yeah, I just pushed it a bit too far there, and now the engine's gone off. I do wonder what kind of condition it's in. Either way, we're on. That was the last corner we're on, so you know, it's not exactly the end of the world. We have scored a 22.190, which is a very, very good time. Puts us at the top for the time being. Just skip the free roam. And it looks like we've completely lost the front wheel. Actually reminds me of the death trap I built a long time ago. Only this is not a death trap. This is nicer than that, I would say. It doesn't bite. The death trap was built to just spontaneously bite you, and this is not a vehicle that does that. I think the brake disc actually came off as well. Because if you look at the rear brake disc, it wasn't like that. Come on, hurry along, camera. It is a bit slow. Let's look at these lovely Italian buildings while we wait. And indeed, it does have the brake disc inside. A vented disc. So, yeah, what more is there to say? It's quick, but just don't overcook it. Anyway, until next time, I'm going to leave it here and say goodbye until another day.